106 out of their last 107 Ivy League duels, including 14 in a row since losing to Princeton in 2020. We head to 165 now. Kaya Sement going against Julian Ramirez. Ramirez, the 4th ranked wrestler, and Sement has been so good for Penn up and down the lineup in his career, but he has a big paper route here in front of him today.
And Julian Ramirez, for as good as he's been this year and in his career, 63-17, has not gone to the podium at NCAA's 2-time blood round finisher. So he's been 1 win shy the last 2 years. But going up high in the rankings this year, Joe, he's looking like an absolute dog, as the kids would say.
Coming off of a 15-3 major decision win against Princeton's Blaine Berge.
He's definitely pushing the pace so far. Kaya Sement on his heels the entire first almost 40 seconds.
Sement looking to get back into the act. He fell to Josh Kim by 8-3 decision against Harvard.
He's got an opportunity here. He managed to get in on that shot. Now Ramirez the one scrambling, forced to defend. That was a great heads-up shot by Sement, but he's got to be able to get off his hips here. We see Ramirez locked around that leg. He's simply just get a crossface here. He's able to get his hips heavy now.
Where's Sement have to go here to finish off this takedown?
He's got to be able to knee slide up right here, but you see Ramirez locked around. Now Sement's head is buried in that mat right now. Now the referee looks like they're going to call a stalemate here, if they will. But I like the aggressiveness right there. You don't see that often from Kaya Sement, able to catch him off guard. And a guy like Julian Ramirez.
Hands have been pretty heavy in the hand fighting early on here.
Yeah, you can hear that club of the head right there, especially us being mat side. Ramirez is 4th in the country for a reason, 15-2. He's been dominant. Good re-attack here from Sement. He's got that leg shelved. He's got to be able to climb up. He's got to watch the boundary, though. He can just elevate and bring it back in, but Ramirez doing a good job turning back towards the center of the mat.
Actually works out for Sement because Ramirez was the one keeping them in at that point, trying for the trip here, and to walk him in. Nicely done by Ramirez.
Good job by Ramirez right there to attack and post on the shoulders there of Sement. Able to circle back to the center, avoid a stall call for both guys, essentially. I don't know how he got his foot free there. I mean, Sement was just so deep in on that shot, had it elevated too. That's just great athleticism and balance from Julian Ramirez.
Stall warning called against Sement.
Yeah, again, Ramirez, just like Shapiro in the previous bout, has been the more aggressive wrestler on the feet, at least, Joe, in terms of movement and controlling the center of the mat.
Ramirez wanting the official to be aware of that. We'll call it a head slap. I mean, that's what it was.
Like the old Deacon Jones move.
Exactly. Quarterbacks beware. First period in the books. Ramirez not happy with the way that ended.
Ramirez obviously is frustrated. Sement's getting in his head a little bit. The official is going to want to take control of this match. I mean, again, I think just some warnings have been issued to both sides here, Joe. They're going to talk about it now. It's getting loud here in the palestra.
Yeah, it just happened at the end of the period here. Ramirez returning the shove.
It's interesting, Joe, because I mean, like any sport, it's always the second guy who is the one who's getting in trouble.
And it's such a fine line in a spot like that. Are you separating or are you shoving? Ramirez did not like the way that Sement put his right hand on him.
One neutral.
First point awarded to Ramirez.
I mean, I like the mind game from Ramirez, though. I know Sement's trying to get in his face. He had these two hard clubs again that, have sounded like slaps, at least down Matt's side. And both these guys are wrestling hard. It's getting aggressive down there, and Sement knows he's the underdog in this match against a top 5 guy in the country. And sometimes it's a little bit more of the gamesmanship there, where you see Sement's trying to get in his head, and Ramirez, essentially, if you're in his spot, you're not just going to let him kind of push you off to the side right before the end of the period. Just got to be careful, though, before it costs you a point on either side.
Ramirez stuffing out that shot attempt, runs around the back, and there's the 3.
That's just great re-attacks by Ramirez, but Sement, that's a great job constantly flipping his hips to get out for 1. And there's a challenge for coming out from the Penn bench.
So the 3 nearly went in the air the first time Ramirez was attacking. They eventually did award it. Sement with the quick escape, and now they'll take a look here.
Yeah, they're going to challenge the takedown, it looks like. There's been I don't know about you, Joe, but I've heard so much talk about reaction time over the last 2 to 3 weeks and the controversy surrounding it. And again, they did change the rule this year where, again, there's no more hand-touch takedown. That's the letter of the law in the NCAA rule book. But the problem is, it seems like there's been so many interpretations of the reaction time portion of the takedown rule. So now you have to really see if Ramirez had full control of that takedown. From our vantage point, it looks like he did at one point. But again, I think what Penn is going to look at here is, look like Sement was trying to hit a switch, constantly flipping his hips and reaching around. And maybe he wasn't fully broken down on the mat, but you do need firm control on the mat now, not just getting around to somebody's back and having the guy's hands touch.
Now, Nick, you might have seen this a little differently than I did. Live, to me, it looked like Ramirez had the takedown, or at least closer to the takedown, the first time rather than the second time. So meaning the first time that the 3 almost went up as opposed to the second time. Because I'm with you. It looked like Sement was closer to the escape when
it's very close.
3 went up.
It's very close either way. And again, just like, you hate to use the football example, but the call on the mat was a takedown, so you're going to have to see conclusive evidence where it will be enough to overturn the call. And that's the big difference right now. That'll be the difference between a 4-1 lead for Ramirez or just a 1-0 lead for him. Because again, Sement did clearly get out for the escape point, but now it's just a matter of, did Ramirez actually finish that takedown? At least from our vantage point, it looked like he did. He had enough control before Sement kept flipping his hips. But I mean, if you're Penn, you might as well use the challenge there. I mean, give yourself a chance here.
And Ramirez dealing with a cut on his head as well over on the Cornell bench.
Yeah, I can tell he took off his headgear. It looked pretty nasty over there, so hopefully they patched it up real quicker. Sometimes those guys just get the tape around the entire head. I mean, they're still looking at it, too. I mean, it's tough. That's been the biggest thing with the rule book this year.
They'll say no takedown. A good challenge by Roger Reyna.
Well, the veteran head coach has got a great eye.
And that's what we talked about. It kind of looked closer the first time when they didn't award the takedown.
Yeah, Sement's hips were clearly broken down on the mat. But again, it goes to, does Ramirez have full control? Is he behind? Sement never really stopped moving there. So again, the interpretation of the rule, and you hate to say the rule has to be interpreted, it should be clear cut. And I get what the NCAA has done with the rule compared to last year. You want to limit the hand touch takedown, but sometimes you can be behind a guy, might just bump him forward, his hands touch, but he stands immediately back up, and they're going to rule that a takedown. And they wanted to eliminate that this year.
Now the officials are taking a close look at what's going on over here with Ramirez.
I mean, he's got a cut of the head. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't, especially this day and age, haven't ruled him to go into concussion protocol at this point. Now, he didn't look shaken up. I think he's just kneeling down right now just to get his head taped. But that was looking like a pretty big cut. I mean, I think his entire right ear was covered.
But after repairs, he's ready to go. Or not.
Well, I guess the tape's not going to work. I mean, it's tough. You're already that sweaty. You've warmed up. You've wrestled for a period and a half already.
And you could have set your watch by the fact that Sement was definitely going to put a hand on the head as soon as action resumed here. Stuffs out a shot attempt there from Ramirez.
Now he's doing a good job keeping his distance, and he's snapping the head. Again, he's posted on the head. He's just trying to keep his distance right now. But snap down there again. Not letting Ramirez even get deep on these shots.
Ramirez has been changing levels, trying to get in. Sement's largely been keeping him to the outside. Haven't seen him be as aggressive here in the second period, Sement.
Officials are going to call for action here, so no stall calls on either guy, but Ramirez definitely is the one pushing the pace once again.
Last second here. And we head to the third, a 1-point bout here.
Looks like Sement's going to choose neutral right here, and at least based on the scouting report right here, Joe, you don't want to waste your time on bottoms. They got to imagine Ramirez is very tough on top, and it's not going to bode well for Sement in the third period. Might as well get back on your feet in a 1-point match here.
Well, and you think about it, Nick, the other way, you can't win by escaping. You're right back to even, you know, so you need a takedown either way.
Yeah, no, you don't want the wasted effort there on bottom. You don't want to gas yourself out on bottom just trying to get out. And again, a 3-point takedown, the rule that year. You know, we can't emphasize it enough how it's changed the game a little bit. It would put him up by 2. Even a reversal for Ramirez would only tie the match if that situation were to play out.
So that's a lot of words to say. Makes a lot of sense that they would start up. But here we are. Ramirez getting it on the leg.
Sement's got to keep that head stuffed. He's got to stay locked around the waist. Got to try to elevate here. Oh, too late.
There's the takedown for Ramirez. Now he's up 4 and in great position on top.
That was just a nasty low leg singles. Got to be careful, though. I know he's trying to throw that half in right now, trying to ride, trying to turn Sement to his back. If he can keep that right hand deep around the neck here, back of the head. Trying to flatten him out.
30 seconds.
Ride time not going to be a factor in this one. Sement gets away, but still work to do. He needs to get in on a takedown to square this.
As you mentioned, Joe, it's not the riding time's not a factor. Sement could tie with a takedown, and Ramirez almost had that re-attack right there.
10 seconds left. Ramirez has him locked up.
3, 2, 1, time.
Extra pushing and shoving at the end of that one as well.
1 for Cornell's Julian Ramirez.
Yes, Sement gave him a little one more for the road right there. These guys are definitely going to keep chirping here. You got to wonder if a team point deduction is coming too after that. I don't see any indication for it, but you see the blood coming out of Ramirez, so better late than never.
See Ramirez, this is the just grabbing that heel and turning it into 3. Cornell now with a 6-0 lead here after Ramirez wins by decision.
Next up at 174 will be Benny Baker from Cornell. Number 6, Nick Contreras from Penn.
So now Benny Baker will wrestle for Cornell at 174 against Nick Contreras. And you can see more repairs required for Ramirez.
These are some of the toughest dudes on the planet, I'll tell you that. And Ramirez earned it in the end for Cornell.